I was going to suggest we try and do the whole episode in our best Bill and Ted voices, but I don't think I can do that.
There is no way.
No, I
Okay,
couldn't do
firstly,
that.
my Bill and Ted voice is not very good. And then secondly, I don't know if I can hold a voice like that for an entire podcast.
I think I'd need to, I feel like I've forgotten the voice. Hang on. I know the voice, but I can't remember the
I feel like
voice.
I'd need to be really drunk to pull that off.
Yes.
I'm not drunk enough to pull that off.
Bill and Ted voices.
If I sink like 3 more beers, I could probably do it. Let's just hang out while we wait for Herzl to look up Bill and Ted voices. Let's just hang out. You know, just vibe. Hey guys, just vibing. Just chilling. No, but seriously, like, welcome to the podcast. What are you listening to? I was literally about to intro the podcast, and then I hear something coming through your microphone. What are you listening to?
I was watching this scene from when they're talking with Socrates, like philosophizing, doing what they did with.
It's pronounced
Kid Cudi.
Socrates, you idiot. God, get a grip.
Pronounced Kid Cudi.
Am I ever gonna actually intro the podcast? Probably not. We could just sit here and talk shit for like a million years and never actually intro the podcast. We could just start
Let's do the
talking about the
podcast.
movies and never
Talking
intro.
about Kid Cudi. Cudi? Cudi? Cuddy?
Cuddy.
Kid Cudi.
Cuddy. Ah,
Cudi.
idiot. Do you not know Kid Cutie? It's my favorite rapper, Kid Cutie. No, but like, welcome back, everyone. Chinwatched podcast, just out here vibing. We've been recording for like 2 minutes, and now I'm going to intro it. But I've had like, I'm going to say 2 weeks off from the podcast now. 2 weeks, about that. Just another little hiatus, you know. I go through these patches where I don't want to do anything, and then I go back into my moods of wanting to do things. And plus, there's 2 new movies out this week that I want to talk about, and no, Tenet is not one of them because I don't have Tenet yet. And we're still in lockdown, so we can't even go to the movies to see it. If we find New Mutants, though,
Yes.
New Mutants episode, but that is also not the other movie. But that episode will come out sometime this week as well? Question mark. Depends on when we record it. Yeah, I don't know what episode number we're up to either. I'm really good at this. But we're talking about Bill and Ted, specifically Bill and Ted Face the Music, which, if you weren't aware, it just came out last week. And yeah, so it came out everywhere in cinemas, but it also came out online so that everyone can watch it. And yeah, that's what we did because we can't leave the house, so we watched it at home. But I've got 2 very different Bill and Ted fans, let's say, because they're from 2 opposite ends of the spectrum of Bill and Ted fandom. So I've got my good friend Connor Herzl back again. Hi, Connor Herzl.
Hi.
I hate you. Why would you do that? It's going to sound so much worse in the
I
actual
literally
recording
couldn't hold
too.
it. I was trying to hold it, and then you started introducing me. I was like, well, this is a good time. I need to start coughing.
It's a good time to meme it.
Hello, Nathan Chinnick. I am Connor Herzl. Hello, the Chinwatched podcast. I am Connor Herzl. Yeah, that's me.
That was a really good intro. And then I've got my other friend, just friend, no more than friend, Stephanie. Welcome, Stephanie. How are you?
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I haven't seen you in so long.
We haven't. I was gonna say we haven't really spoken to each other in a while, so I was just wondering like how you are, you know. Hopefully good. Getting no response, so it's hard to tell really.
Sorry,
Donuts.
the Siri cut in and I couldn't hear you. It cut off. Sorry.
Siri cut in. What a bitch. I hate that bitch. Fuck.
Siri decided
She
she
sucks.
misses you.
Ah,
Oh, she
I
just
mean,
came back
can you-
again.
stop saying Siri.
Stop saying your name.
Okay. I still-
Just stop talking about it.
Okay,
She
I'll
only
stop.
pops up when you talk about it.
Stop
God,
getting so jealous, Nathan.
shut up. I can't help it.
Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Yes, thanks, Herzl. Bill and Ted Face the Music. Before we get into it, you know the usual shit. Follow the Instagram, follow the Facebook, follow YouTube because we'll have video versions of the podcast coming soon with actual camera footage. Also, don't forget to check out MBA, the NBA podcast. Connor's are from over there. And yeah, that's just an NBA podcast, pretty straightforward. That's just at NBA on everything. We just launched our first video podcast of that one. So go check that out if you want to see our beautiful faces for half the podcast and then Connor's for the second half. So Bill and Ted Face the Music. So hang on. Let's start off with my favorite way of starting when we talk about movies. What what's the history you guys have with the franchise? I mean, I'll start. I watched the first two when I was maybe 9. I think Dad was like, "These are good movies. You should watch them." And I was like, "Okay." So we watched them, and I really liked them. Don't know if they were appropriate for me as a 9-year-old, but they're good. They were good. I feel like I appreciate them more now, though. But yeah, big fan. Connor Herzl. Go on then.
Yeah, I reckon
What's
I'm probably the same as you. When I was probably about 9, I reckon, my stepdad was like, "Hey, we should watch these movies," and I watched them, and they were hilarious to me as a dumb 9-year-old, you know.
of course.
And this one just brought back all those same emotions of hee hee hee, monkey brain think this funny.
Monkey. I think this is good joke. Haha. They dumb. And then Steph is basically on the other end of the spectrum because you hadn't seen them until a week
No.
ago.
I had not.
Um,
Nathan was like, "Have you seen Bill and Ted?" And I was like, "Nope, I have not seen Bill and Ted." And he was like, "Give it a go, and then we'll watch the new one." And we did. And yeah, I don't know. I was expecting it to be a bit more like Dumb and Dumber, but it wasn't really. To be honest, it reminded me a little bit of like Back to the Future, a little bit, but it had a bit of a different like twist to it, obviously.
yeah. I think that's probably the most direct comparison to make because of the time that it came out. Because it came out 4 years after the first Back to the Future, and like the same year as the third, I think. So it was like right on Back to the Future hype. So it was like fair enough that it like shares a lot of qualities with those movies, but they're also very different. I think the second one is probably the most different to Back to the Future, but
Yeah.
I don't want to talk too much about the first two, but I guess we should anyway, just like talk about our thoughts. But Steph, you can lead it because like you're on first impressions, like you've never seen them before, and you've just watched them for the first time. So I want to know what you think of the first two. But it's like obviously
Okay.
start off with the first one.
I don't know. Like, I think it was, it was really like funny, which I really liked, and like I said before, how it had that like Back to the Future sort of like component and things like that. I mean, I wouldn't say I was like maybe as much of a fan as the two of you. It sounds like you guys like are really, really into it. But it was just like a really easy watch movie, which I really liked about it, and it was just fun and enjoyable. Yeah, I just like I liked it, but I wouldn't say I was like a diehard fan like the two of you. So bringing a different perspective into this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I guess Herzl, what do you think of the first two? I mean, obviously you like them. Which one is your favorite out of the first two? I'm curious.
I didn't get a chance to rewatch them because I've been pretty busy with work in uni. But
Yeah.
from what I remember, Is the second one with the one with death in it?
Yes.
The first, yeah,
Yeah.
it's the one with death in it is my favorite one because I thought that was hilarious. The whole
Yeah.
that
I
whole
think
thing.
I think the first one is like obviously it's more I don't know if standard is the word because it's not. It's still really like stupid and over the top. But because it was riding on that Back to the Future hype, it kind of devolves into like Back to the Future esque elements. Whereas the second one is like so bizarre and different, and it's like the plot is like spoilers for a movie from 1991, I guess. The plot is literally evil robots dressed as the two main characters come back in time to kill the main characters and successfully do it in the first 20 minutes. And then the rest of the movie is them trying to escape hell, which
And
is
get the
just,
princesses back.
yeah,
That
which
was
is
like a
just
very big plot
insane.
point of it. Like they kept mentioning that every time. Like we got to get the princesses back. That's the main thing we're worried
Literally.
about. Nothing
They
else. Doesn't matter if we
they
don't get
need
back
the
alive.
princesses back. And then the robot versions go and just like trash their relationships and um yeah, I genuinely think that I agree. The second one is probably I think I like the second one more than the first. It's just so weird. I think that's the best part. It's so strange and like really different to anything else I've ever watched. And as a 9-year-old, literally all I can hear is Steph playing with the mic stand. Um, I can just hear the springs in the mic stand. Stop touching it, Steph. Stop touching
Sorry.
it. It's all I can hear.
I'll stop.
Um,
Back to the
so,
doghouse.
to the doghouse. You're out. Kicking you out of the
Literally.
Zencaster. That's it. You're done. Um, yeah, I think the second one uh, is just more interesting. And as a 9-year-old, the fuck Lockie, piss off. Everyone wants to distract me. Lockie's messaging in the Discord, fucking distracting me while I'm trying to talk about Bill and Ted, and I keep losing my train of thought. Anyway, as I was saying, the scene where they're in hell and they're going through the different rooms and their different versions of hell, specifically the rabbit that looks like if the Energizer Bunny was on crack, that scared the shit out of me as a 9-year-old. And then rewatching it, I was like, it's still pretty scary. Not gonna lie. But yeah, I think I'll agree with you on the fact that the second one is better than the first. I think they're about equal though. I think they're both pretty good. As Steph said, they're pretty easy watches. But topic at hand: Bill and Ted Face the Music. I guess I'll give a fair warning to anyone that hasn't watched it. I mean, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's pretty good. But fair warning, I can't stop myself from spoiling things. So could very well be spoilers from here on out. So just keep that in mind. I don't want to spoil it for anyone if you haven't seen it. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it and then come back and listen. But from here on out, say whatever the fuck you want about the movie. I'll start off by saying, Keanu Reeves and I've just forgotten his name, Alex Winter. They look pretty good for their age, I guess. But do you think, Herzl? I'm genuinely curious. Do you think they tried to make Keanu Reeves look older in this movie?
Yeah, I don't know. I was expecting him to have a beard because of John Wick. Really, I was just like expecting
Yeah.
him to just have a beard, and then when he didn't have a beard, he looked like it made him
He
look a
looks
bit.
strange without a beard.
He
He looks
looked
older, doesn't
strangely
he?
older with. I don't know, like how else to explain it. He just looked a bit older somehow.
I feel like looking at him, like pictures of him, like at the Cyberpunk announcement and shit like that. He doesn't look as old as he does in this movie. But I'm like, is that the lack of beard that makes him look older?
Yeah, I think that's the only thing, and it's I loved it though. I loved him. Loved them both in it again. That was hilarious.
Oh,
The
I'm honestly shocked that, like, however long it's been. So it's been almost 20 years. It's been 19 years since the second one came out. And they managed to play the characters, like, almost exactly the same, but, like, different enough that it's realistic. It's like, oh, that is them 20 years later. It's not like, it doesn't look like they're just trying to be the same version of the characters. They're, like, making them an older version of the characters, and I really liked that. I thought that was like one of the best parts of it, because I was worried that, like, um I guess especially because of John Wick, I was kind of worried that Keanu Reeves wouldn't be like able to fall back into that role in the way that he did, but he kind of did it perfectly. um but I guess on that as well, not to just like jump around on everything straight away, but um the daughters also managed to nail it like
hundred
perfectly, the
percent.
acting.
Like
Yeah,
they
they
had the
did.
voices perfectly done. Like, oh my god, it was hilarious. Like, I could not handle how funny and good they were at doing the voices.
They were like, they're probably, for me, probably one of the highlights of the movie. Like, their
Hundred
acting
percent.
kind of carried a lot of it, and I think it added another interesting aspect to it. And I guess as well, I don't know if you remember it, Herzl, but uh, I like that, like, because we watched them back to back. I like that at the end of the second one, they came back from the future and they had their kids with them, and they were like, it's little Bill and little Ted. And then it kind of took me a while in this one to be like, wait, that they were the babies, and they called them little Bill and little Ted, and then at some point realized that they weren't boys. So their names are Theodora and Wilhelmina,
Yeah,
and they just
like
shortened to Billy, and I can't even
Teddy.
remember what Theodora's
I
was.
think
I
it's
think it was just
Teddy.
Teddy.
They kept
Yeah.
they just kept calling to the B and T that the whole time.
Oh no, they called her Thea. That's right.
Yeah,
Oh,
Thea
Theo?
and
Yeah.
Billy.
Yeah.
Teddy just makes more sense.
But yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was like really interesting because, very easy for them to just be like, it's just two, like they just get two boys to do it. But I
Yeah.
thought it was really smart and really funny to get two girls in there, um, and
Mm.
like play the same characters. But I think like that kind of fits perfectly into Bill and Ted. Like, it's the kind of humor that you have. Like, even like pretty much the first joke of the movie is that Missy, um, Bill's stepmom from the first movie, is now married to Ted's younger brother.
Yeah, that
Yes.
was so funny.
That was like one of the best jokes in the movie, and it was in the first like 2 minutes. But that's like the perfect humor for a Bill and Ted movie, which is like, that's what I was really impressed with, was how they managed to nail a lot of those jokes and like the humor and not make it, because like going into it, I was a bit worried that it was going to be like a little bit dated, maybe even like
Yeah.
they would be trying to imitate it too much, but they kind of nailed it without having to like copy jokes necessarily. Um, but yeah, I guess we can talk about the actual plot too while we're talking about the writing. What did you think of the story? I'll start with Steph, but what did you think of the actual story of the movie?
Yeah, like I thought it was really good and it was different and it was relatable like a lot. Like the two movies, it felt like built up to that story, if that makes sense, because music was always like in the other movies. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I just think that it, like you said, it was interesting to have the daughters in instead. And I liked how throughout the end it sort of was like the two girls became like the new Bill and Ted in a way.
Yeah,
And
I
I
liked that.
think I like that. And I think I don't know if they'd maybe do a fourth movie with like the girls in it, but it like leaves that sort of opening too, which I liked as well, I think. But yeah, just like a lot of like humor carried out from the same two was in the new one, which was great because it was just like so many years later. And I think they just nailed the storyline really well and it fit in with the other two movies. So I think it was really well done.
What do you think, Connor?
Um,
As someone who is a big fan of the first two, what do you think?
I thought the plot was excellent. I thought um, the whole robot thing was hilarious. Like the reactions when he accidentally killed the wrong people. Spoilers.
Dennis. Oh my
Yes,
god.
Dennis McCoy.
Dennis was the best character in the movie. Dennis
He
Caleb
was,
McCoy. Herzl.
and when he kept turning, like when he's like, "I'm Dennis," and they're like, "Cool, let's go, Dennis McCoy." Yeah, cool.
Like, okay, cool. No, Dennis Caleb McCoy. Like
Oh, and they
that
like kept,
reminded me so much of how Death was in the second one. Like just a
yeah,
dumb character that isn't so dumb that it's stupid, but like it's so well written that it just like it's perfect. I don't know. I thought he's definitely the standout of the new characters.
and they made the
Um
same joke like 6 times as well. Like, how the hell is there a robot in hell? Who cares? Let's keep moving. Like
yeah.
this, did like
But
that
that's the
one
best part is that it's self-aware.
2 minute time span where the robot just kept being like, how the fuck did the robot die? What?
Yeah, how is a robot dead? Doesn't make any sense, but it's funny.
Oh,
um yeah, what were you going to say?
yeah, that the whole I really liked the whole plot of it. That like that major plot point was obviously good, and they Kid Cudi, um,
King Cuddy.
King,
Oh, that's a new one.
yeah, the way they like he was just like weird, like that
But I
whole
liked
that
that
was
because he
funny as
wasn't just
well.
like in there playing himself. Like they kind of almost made him into a caricature, which I like because the rest are obviously caricatures um, of dead people. But then when you get in
Yeah,
like a caricature of someone who is alive and playing themselves, I think it makes it so much more funny.
yeah.
And I didn't expect it at all, which was good too. Like I knew
No,
he was in it and playing himself, but I didn't know that they were gonna like make him over the top like that and like no quantum physics. I was like, this makes no sense, but I'm totally there for it.
the only
Um,
thing that could have made the movie better was if they actually got Eddie Van Halen.
that would have been good. That would have been pretty good. I liked the actors that played all the musicians though.
Yeah,
Everyone kind of nailed it. Um, Especially the guy that played Jimi Hendrix. He was like
yeah,
really fucking good.
yeah.
Um, and Louis Armstrong, that was pretty funny too. I recognized him, but I can't work out why. But he looked really familiar, but I don't know if he's actually been in anything else.
Yeah, I know what you
Um,
mean. He kind of looked a little bit like I don't know the actor's name,
I'm
but he
googling him.
played
He was in Luke Cage.
the
Did you
guy.
watch Luke Cage?
I watched a bit of it. He looked a bit like the guy that played War Machine in the first Iron Man movie, like just a little
Oh
bit.
yeah, a little bit like a younger version of him. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
Same kind of face. But yeah, he was really good. I think like though the actors they got to play the past musicians were really good. Um, Obviously, like most of them are returning actors. They did have the different actors for the princesses, but I kind of liked the actresses they got for them because
Yeah.
they're both like funny actresses, so it kind of makes sense to put them in there.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. Part of me is like, I wish they got the original actresses, but I
Wish
don't
they kept the
know.
princesses.
I don't know where they're at. So I'm gonna have to look it up. Bill and Ted. If one of them's dead, that might explain it. But let's find out. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, 1989. There's a 4K trailer of it on YouTube. I wonder if you can get the movie in 4K. I'd get Bill and Ted in 4K.
Do it.
This is taking so long to find. Why? They're princesses. Well, there's one. Is she alive? Yeah, this one's alive.
They were pretty,
So-
they're still, young. like unless something happened.
You know,
Yeah,
They don't look old per se. No, they look like the same age as
but
Keanu
they
Reeves
were
and Alex
born in
Winter.
1804 and 1802, so that's a
Oh, that's true. They probably I didn't think of that. Okay, good point. Um, yeah, I liked at first when they sort of hinted at there being two separate storylines, one for Bill and Ted and one for the daughters. I was like, I don't know if I like that. Like, because
I think
sometimes
they pulled it
movies
off
do
really
it.
well.
Yeah,
Mm.
some movies do it and it feels a bit crowded, but I think they did it really well in that.
And they
And it all,
merged it really well as well at the end.
Yeah,
yeah, it
and
all lines
there
up
was a
really
lot of
well.
like parallels and everything. I think like the way that they did both of them at the same time, and then obviously when they hit hell, it like all comes together. That was
Mm.
really, really well done. I really liked all the different versions of Bill and Ted that they run into.
Oh, that was hilarious.
That was another
The
highlight.
Dave Grohl one was the fucking best. That
The
part was
Dave Grohl
hilarious.
one was great. Okay, Steph didn't know who Dave Grohl was, so I had to explain it. But I thought it was the
Yeah.
best part of the movie because I was like, "Oh, this is hilarious."
The
And
fact
the
that
second he showed up, I'm like, "Oh, it's his house, isn't it?" Oh, okay.
it makes it that much funnier that the old Bill and Ted fucking knew that he was going to come home a day early as well. So they knew they would have had to prepare a day earlier than they did, but they still
Yeah,
fucked it up.
but they still fucked it up because it's Bill and Ted. That's what they do. Yeah, I liked like the rundown versions of them that were like just playing in a fucking bar. Um, I liked the
Drunk.
prison ones, obviously.
Oh, they're like, we're going to kill them.
those
But if they die,
those
we
suits
die.
are just like that again. I think exemplifies like the stupid part of the humor that never goes like too far, but it's always like this is a bit dumb. Is like how big the muscle suits were. It's like they didn't have to be that big, but they
But
were
they
like,
did.
well, if we're gonna put them in muscle suits, let's just exaggerate it, like as far as we possibly can. And I loved it. I thought it was really funny, the way they did that. But um, yeah, I liked most of this movie. I'm just gonna sit here and go, I liked this part. I liked this part.
There's just
Um,
two specific actors that I have to talk about as well, and both of them relate to that Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's got a cigarette and a wine or something, and he's like pointing at the TV. You know that one?
yes, from
Um,
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Every single time I see an Australian actor who started out in Home and Away or Neighbours, I am that meme. Every time without fail, and
You're a fucking idiot. That's probably
yeah,
Steph as well.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
hundred
me because
percent.
I'm like a home and away. Like I'm a regular home and away watcher too. So
Oh,
I've actually seen them like be on home and away and Neighbours when I was younger, and then like be on movies, and I'm like, what?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
Wait,
crazy.
so hang on. Who in this movie was from Home and Away?
The
Samara
one that was in
Weaving.
Hollywood as well. The blonde girl. She's
No, they're
Australian.
different. She's Margot
You
Robbie.
sure?
She's from Neighbours. Yeah, Margot
Sure.
Robbie's the blonde one
No,
from
I'm not
Neighbours,
talking
and
about
that's
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm talking about Hollywood, the Netflix series.
oh right,
Yeah, the
Sorry,
one you
I thought
started
about Once Upon a
watching.
Time in Hollywood. Sorry. Yeah, no, that is her. You're right.
Yeah, I was like really concerned. I was like, no,
Like shit, am I getting Samara Weaving and Margot Robbie mixed up?
I mean, they do look kind of similar, like a little bit. So I guess that would be fair.
And then the other time I was that meme was when was it Kelly? Was that her name? The
Yes.
future
Yep.
girl. Oh my
Yeah.
god! For the first half of the movie, I was like, where the fuck do I know her from? I know that voice. I've heard that voice so many times. Where is it? And then I was like, it's fucking Bob's Burgers.
She's
Bob's
in
Burgers.
so much shit. She does so much voice acting. She's in like Bob's Burgers, BoJack Horseman.
Oh
She's in
yes.
Despicable Me 2. She's in Toy Story 3 and 4. She plays the Triceratops.
I didn't
Oh my
realize she was
God,
like that well known of an actor. I just like thought she was just
She's
like
a
this is
big
her
voice
first gig
actor.
or something.
Yeah. no, she's a huge voice actor. So she's in a lot of things just doing voices because she has such like a high pitched voice. So they use it for a lot of
So
things
it's
like
kind of
that. Apparently she's
different
in
for
Shrek
her, but
Forever After. I don't know who she is in Shrek Forever After, but she's in it. So
yeah, it's definitely
now I
something
kind
like
of need to
different.
know.
It's something like definitely different from
Gravity
her by the sounds of
Falls.
it, and she would have perfect for it because she did so many different voices. So she would have more so nailed that Bill and Ted voice.
Yeah, 100%.
Um,
She was two of the witches in Shrek Forever After, in case you're wondering. All right, what were you gonna say?
there's a Bob's Burgers movie coming out next year.
I just saw that as well. How good! I didn't know that
Why?
was a thing,
Well, why? But I'm
but I'm
okay with it.
excited. I'm there for it. You know, I love Bob's Burgers. Do a Bob's Burgers episode. Fucking love Bob's Burgers. Um, Yeah, no, I was the same as you, Herzl. With one of the actresses that plays the one of the princesses was in Glee.
Yeah.
So I pointed that out, and I was like, "Oh, there you go." And Steph said it as well. Um, the guy that played Dennis, he's like unrecognizable in that makeup, but he was in a TV show I watched called Barry. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's really good. But yeah, he's like really funny in that, and he was really funny in this. But I also just quickly want to correct a mistake that I've already made in this podcast. So remember when I said that the movie came out 20 years ago?
Yes.
Bad maths. Came out 30 years ago.
Oh, what?
Bit of a difference.
I know.
That's even
I'm an
older than I
idiot.
thought.
Came out in 1991 because I just looked and I was looking at Samara Weaving and it said born in 1992, and I was like, oh, so she's like the perfect age to play that character. And then I was like, wait, hang on, she's 28, 1992. I was like, oh god, oh no, what have I done? So I have to cover that up. So let's just pretend that I didn't say that. I'll edit over it so it's just me saying 30 and then just like over the top of me saying 20 years. But yeah, I feel like I had something else specific I wanted to talk about. And now I can't remember. In terms of like the actual story. I think yeah, the way what I said before about it like being really well written, I think is that it never like feels like it's taking itself too seriously, you know what I mean? Like it always feels like it's in on every joke and like it's so self-aware. And I think that's kind of what makes it a Bill and Ted movie, if you know what I mean, like especially Herzl, because like you've always been a fan. I think yeah, it definitely fits like the writing style that you would expect from a Bill and Ted movie. And I'm gonna say it, I'm kind of glad that they waited 30 years to do it because I really like the story of them as like older Bill and Ted. I think it's more interesting than anything they could have done after the second one, with them being like the same sort of age. Like if they did one like 2 years later, I just don't think it would have been as interesting.
Or if they did actually do it straight away, like 2 years later, but they just dressed them up as like really old people, made them look really old. It's like
That would also be kind of funny, and they would also probably do that. But
yeah, that would be
I
funny.
mean, I'm glad they waited, to be honest. But yeah, did you have anything else specific you wanted to talk about from the actual movie itself? I've got a couple of like behind the scenes things to talk about, but if either of you guys have anything you want to talk about from the actual movie, let me know. But
just the main part when they sort of built it up. It could be a big spoiler point here, but the daughters are like the secret. That's like they've got to. They're
I
the main
mean,
key,
it
and
was the
like
most obvious
it
plot
was
twist
the
ever.
most obvious plot twist of all time, wasn't it?
It was
Like,
pretty much the second they said Preston Logan, I was like, oh, so it's the daughters.
yeah,
Like, okay, cool.
But as soon as
Easy,
they time
but
traveled too, though, that was a pretty big like hint, and they were like going back in time,
yeah.
seeing different musicians.
yeah, and they're like, I don't understand. How are we gonna write the song? And I'm like, because you're not gonna write the song because the daughters are. And then they're like, hang on a minute, Preston Logan. I'm like, yeah, okay, we
That's a
saw that one coming.
classic like Bill and Ted thing to do as well. Like
Well,
they
yeah,
had to do
that's
it like
true.
that.
That is true. Um, but yeah, what do you guys think of the actual song? Because I saw, I'm gonna find the article. So there was an article on Pitchfork, which is a music magazine, and the title of the thing says, "The worst part of Bill and Ted Face the Music is the music." And then the subtitle says, "The beloved franchise returns with the premise that one song can save the world. The only problem is the song kinda sucks." So I want to know what you thought of the actual song that saves the world. Um,
I think they missed the point. It wasn't to save the world because it's a good song. It was to unite the world, and they did unite the world. That was the
even if the
point.
song was shit, they united the world.
You try and get to seven, or more than 7 billion, because it was everyone in history ever. Okay, and in I don't know, billions,
When you
trillions
really
even.
think about the fact that it's every single person in history playing the song, it's like that is so bizarre and stupid.
I can
But they
barely
make
hold a
it
tune with a
serious.
triangle, let alone anything more. So the fact that they could get, presumably me in some form, to be able to do that in time with everyone else, that's a W for me. That's a W in my
Uniting the
books.
world. Um, but yeah, it was kind of funny, but
I feel like there
that
was a
these people
lot.
thought the song sucked. But yeah, go on, Steph.
Yeah, I feel like there was like I agree with Connor and like they achieved what they wanted to achieve, which is like super awesome and great. But there was a lot happening in the song. There was like a lot of instrumentals, and I guess maybe that was the point. But like it was good, but it was like there was still a lot happening in the song, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Um, I think as well, like, the ending in general, it just kind of ends
Yeah, you're right. It just sort of ends. They like,
like
Mm.
really abruptly. Ends, and I feel like it felt kind of rushed. Just just the way it cuts off at the end, I was like, oh, that's it, really. Like I kind of expected a little bit more, but I don't know. Like maybe they'll like pull out another one. Who knows? And like maybe they don't need that closure as much as I thought. But it just it kind of ends really suddenly, which was surprising to me. But
yeah.
I don't know. What do you think of that? Because like I didn't really like it that much, to be honest.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It does end very abruptly. Didn't really think of that, but on reflection, yes, it ends very abruptly. It's sort of just
Yeah, I
like
don't know. It was weird,
save the
but
day, and that's it. Yep, nothing else.
yeah, that's pretty much what it was like. Um, I have another article as well. It was an interview with Alex Winter, who plays Bill, and he actually said that in that last scene, they filmed it before the song had actually been written. So they had to find a song that fit the same beats per minute that they were going to have the song be. And the song they chose that was the same beats per minute was Obla Di Obla Da by the Beatles. So in that final scene, they're actually just playing a Beatles song, and then the editors had
Mm.
to, the editors and the guy that made the soundtrack had to make the song, using a fully cut concert of Bill and Ted playing Obla Di Obla Da, um, which is kind of incredible considering
That's a good effort.
they managed to make it look pretty good. I think. Like it doesn't look like they're playing a different song, so kind of impressive. But
Yeah, that's good. Good job.
yeah, I guess yeah. What out of 5 rating of the movie for both of you? Pretty sure I gave it a 4. Uh, out of 5,
Yeah, I was thinking that
but I'll
like
check that.
I'm thinking 3.5 to 4 because like 3 is too low, but like 4.5 was too high. 4 and 3.5. I don't know. It's one of those two. It's going to have 3.75.
3.75. That is so specific.
Yeah.
It's halfway between 3.5 and 4.
I'm probably going to give it like a 3.62. What do you think? Like, that sounds about right.
No.
I'm actually going to look it up and see what I gave it because I don't remember. I gave it 4. 4 stars.
Yeah.
I actually gave all 3 movies 4 stars. So,
Consistent.
I guess I look in my head. Yeah, they're all pretty much equal. I definitely say that. Like, I like this one as much as I like the first 2. Where I'm like, it's an easy watch. I'll watch it again at some point because I liked it.
Yeah.
It's short too, which is good. It was only like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was very short.
But it doesn't need to be longer than that, I don't think. Like,
No.
you wouldn't want to drag it
right.
out too much. Especially because a lot of movies nowadays are very long. Like, past 2 hours.
Yeah.
Kind of good to see that they kept it short. And it doesn't feel like rushed short. It feels like it's meant to be that long, which I really like. But yeah, Steph, what do you think? Give me your rating of the movie. Go on.
I probably would give the latest one a 4, but I think I'd give the older ones 3.5.
Okay.
I
Then that
think-
makes me think if it's like a nostalgia thing or not for us. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I definitely liked the old ones. Like, don't get me wrong, but I just think the new one was just ramped up another level, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And
That's fair enough.
That's
I
why
get
I
that.
would probably, because I don't think I could say I could give the newest one a 4.5. So yeah, I don't know, or I could go with the older
What about
ones.
a 4.25?
What did you say? Yeah, whatever you said, it was like 3.75. If
That's
we want to
like
get really specific.
What's that? That's like 7.5 out of 10.
72.5%? 70. Yes, 7.
That'd be 75%, wouldn't it? 3.75. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
70.
Yes, you're right. I can't math.
Yeah, 75%. Perfect.
We don't do maths in
I'll
the
give it a
Chinwatched podcast, guys.
75%.
We don't do maths.
That's a
We
distinction.
don't-
That's all that counts.
We don't know math. I
Yes,
am
it
gonna
is.
bring back. I'm gonna bring back a classic that we haven't done for quite a while. I'm gonna look at bad reviews for this movie and find out what people hate about it. Let's go. Lowest rating. Let's see. No, that one's just boring. This person said, the dialogue all sounded like it was recorded on a Zoom call with everyone waiting a second after the last line finished to avoid potentially talking over someone else. But I feel like I didn't really feel that at all. So I don't know what they're talking about.
I guess there is a
Are they
little bit of a
implying that
delay.
there's like, they're putting a delay on for like laughter? Because I never really noticed that, to be
I
honest.
feel like that's just
But-
kind of how they talk, though, a little bit. Like, they kind
Yeah.
of do, in general,
They
just
just,
have a
like,
delay. That's just how they talk in all the Bill and Ted movies.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Didn't even watch it, but I hate it. Send it back. Someone else just said shit. Someone else said, oh, this one's long. Okay, here we go. I did not like this movie. In fact, I actually hated it. I see it as a way to milk on nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. I haven't seen something this bad since Independence Day Resurgence. I think I chuckled once throughout the film when Keanu Reeves called himself a dick. Other than that, it was not funny. I
was
found
pretty
that the
funny.
original actors did not look like they were having fun. The worst part is the CGI. The only thing positive I can say about the film is that the two daughters look like they give a crap and they tried. Other than that, fuck this movie. 1 out of 10. That seems a bit harsh. Especially saying that Keanu and Alex Winters didn't look like they were into it. They looked like they were having a fucking blast the whole time, if you ask me. They look like this is the movie they've been waiting to do for 30 years. I mean, Alex Winter he hasn't done anything else pretty much since Bill and Ted. But, like, this was made for them to do it now, and I think they look like they were having a blast, but... I
Yeah,
don't know.
I think they looked like they're having very fun times.
Yeah. This sucks. Okay, perfect. Generally, the people with half a star just don't have anything good to say. They just say, "This sucks. This movie trash." Um, and they don't actually have anything good to say. Uh, oh, here we go. The gender swapping of the sons to daughters is not good. I don't know how all these reviewers who seemingly hated on the movie can just preach on and on about this change being good when completely overlooking the rubbish pile that is the rest of the movie. Oh my god. Oh my god. Someone said, I hated Dennis. Dennis was for me what Jar Jar Binks is to Star Wars.
Okay, well,
Whew.
that
That's
person
treason.
deserves a death sentence. That is, yes, that is treasonous. That is hate speech. That
I'm
is
pretty sure that's punishable in many countries, actually, to say that about Dennis Caleb McCoy. So
Dennis
Gee.
Caleb McCoy.
that's kind of fucked up.
Kelly's
Like
ex-boyfriend's name was Dennis McCoy, and that was
that was probably the
that was
best
that
reveal
was
of the movie. That was better
yes,
than Preston Logan
yeah.
revealing that the robot was named after her ex-boyfriend. That was pretty funny. But um, look, that seems very unjustified if you ask me. I'm not a big Jar Jar Binks fan, so maybe I'm speaking from a bad perspective on this. But I'm just going to say I
Misa
don't think
thinks
Dennis Caleb McCoy deserves that. I know some people don't hate Jar Jar Binks.
Misa
Steph, you like
thinks
the prequels?
that
Do
is
you like
shit.
Jar Jar Binks?
Yeah. I don't know.
Right, so we should probably kick her out of the podcast, right? Like we should never have her on again.
Misa thinks that was a shit call from whoever made that
Oh,
post.
shut up, Connor. Fucking hell. All right. Well, I mean, I don't have
That's
much
the
else
end.
to say about the movie, to be honest. Except I liked it a lot, and if you haven't watched it, go and watch it. You know why? Because it's a new movie, and there's not many of those right now. So, go
Can
watch
I
it.
can I ask though, why is Jar Jar Binks hated so much?
Because he's a Sith Lord.
He's a simp.
So innocent though, really.
He's a simp to the Republic. He is though.
He's really innocent.
Um,
Why fucking hate him?
Look, he's annoying as fuck in the first one because I think anytime something good is happening, they will. Anytime anything interesting is happening, they cut back to Jar Jar Binks farting or like fucking, I don't know, hitting himself in the face or something. And I'm like, just stay away from that. It's like the movie is divided into three parts. It's like Qui-Gon Jinn, Jar Jar, and little baby Annie, and none of them are good. Actually, Qui-Gon's kind of good, but the other two are not good.
I think
And
you're
every
forgetting the
time they
pod
cut to
racing.
them, pod racing, good point. Pod racing is good, but little baby Annie, are you an angel? Fuck off. No one likes you, Anakin.
God.
Bitch.
Man, we're playing the long game though with that one. This is definitely just turned into a Star Wars Episode 1 podcast episode.
Don't worry, we'll do Star Wars soon. Steph and I
Yeah,
just started watching
we'll
them
be watching
again,
them.
so
Ah,
Watch
we
this
might
space.
we might do podcasts for each trilogy.
Mm.
But we'll see.
Misa thinks
Yeah,
that's a good
that-
idea.
Pardon?
Misa thinks that's a good idea.
Oh, you should. No, I shouldn't have asked you to say it again. Okay. Well, that'll just about wrap it up. Nice and short, this one. But yeah. Bill and Ted Face Music. Go check it out. And if you're still here, make sure you check out the second episode this week. Because it's gonna be on the Phineas and Ferb movie. And yeah, we're gonna do Star Wars soon. Steph and I, maybe other people, probably just Steph and I. Herzl, you might hop in. Herzl, I think the only one you have planned coming up, and I still don't even really know when that's going to be happening, is the Spider-Man episodes that you suggested.
Yes, there's like 4 episodes I suggested we do.
Yeah, I think the Spider-Man episodes will probably come before the Spider-Man game, I think is what we were going to try and do.
Yeah.
But, wait and see. See what happens. But yeah, thanks Connor and Steph for coming on to the
Thanks for having me.
podcast.
And everyone,
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
be excellent to each other.
And party off, man.
Oh.
Party off, man.
Oh.
I had one job and I
You
just thought
make
I'd
me
ruin
so
it for you.
mad.